be with them so that they can review what Farmers Union stance is on CAFOs and other issues.
I'm Derek Nelson. We just built a new dairy facility last spring. We mounted about 200 cows to South Eau Claire.
I'm Roland Fisher. I'm representative of the cash grain and the cash grain farmer.
I'm Paul Liberty. I'm here representing Wisconsin's Green Fire. It's a volunteer organization, and specifically the agriculture and water quality.
Andy Ferguson, co-owner of Ferguson's Orchard, to commercial apple.
Cindy Andre, clerk for City of Augusta.
I'm Kate Beaton. I'm with the Wisconsin League of Conservation Voters, water policy advocate. We work on a lot of issues on the state level, also on the city council. So,
Eleanor Wolf, and I'm active in the Sierra Club, Citizen Action, and many other environmental organizations. And water quality is one of my concerns, biggest concerns.
Jared Grandy, I work for Eau Claire County Planning and Development. I'm the land use manager. Been there for just over 5 years now. So I work in the land use controls division.
And I'm Amanda Peters. I'm the agronomist for Eau Claire Land Conservation.
I'm Greg Leonard. I'm the land conservation manager here in Eau Claire County. I've been with the county for 7 years now. Rod?
I'm Justin Moore with this new extension.
Rod Esselman with Planning and Development.
Nancy Coffey with County Board Supervisor. Elizabeth Spencer. Again, I'm a member of the Environmental Organization. I also have a real concern and interest in water quality.
Dwayne Popple. I'm a resident of Popple.
Matt Steinbach, Environmental Sciences.
Okay.
Do we have anybody online that's?
Is there anyone online? I know someone was going to join us, but they haven't yet.
Oh, all right.
If I may, Gary?
Yeah, I was going to turn it over to you at this point here.
Oh.
To continue on with the scope of what we're doing here.
Okay.
Greg, is it possible to mute the speaker?
We want to watch to see if someone comes online. Yeah, I'm trying. This is new technology. So we are literally trying to learn this as we go. We are actually recording our meetings. So our meetings will be recorded, so just be aware that we are formally a committee of the county board. Appointed as a special committee. Minutes will be kept, agendas will be posted. These are open meetings, so just be aware that these are considered formal meetings. Couple of housekeeping things. Bathrooms in this building are just out here down the hall, around the corner. You see the water fountain. That's where they're located. Let's make sure cell phones are off. Yes, cell phones are off. But yeah, we are going to be recording these meetings, and we are literally testing this technology as we go forward. The equipment came yesterday. I tested this morning, so hopefully this is going to work well. As you notice, the microphone right now is sitting up here on the desk, and it's been picking up everybody. So just be aware that it will pick up potentially side conversation, paper shuffling, so we just need to be aware that it is going to pick that up. As we have presenters, we're going to probably have them wearing the microphone so that that information is well recorded. The handouts and presentation materials, we have some today, but as that becomes available, we're going to have that stuff available on our webpage. Right now, we have really just the agenda for today's meeting out there on the webpage. But everything that we are developing, like today's presentations and handouts, will ultimately be available on the web. And we'll be sending out a link, possibly tomorrow, where all this stuff is. We do have to have a public input session for every one of these meetings as per county code. up to the chair how much additional discussion from the public he would allow during the meeting. That'll really be up to the chair for that determination. But really, it is a committee meeting, so therefore the committee members have the ability. I don't know if you want to address anything else on that, Gary, at this
No,
time?
that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
You know, usually public input is just for input from the public, you know, it's not debatable. You know, as far as the committee goes, it's just information that the public may want, but, you know.
It'll be really up to the chair how public input during meetings can occur. Everyone signed in the sheet that's on the committee. We need that to make sure that we had a quorum of the meeting. So we need to make sure everyone signs in for that. And then the public present, there was a piece of paper back
I
there.
got it.
Oh, okay. And as long as everyone signs that, so we know who was present.
I'm gonna hand that back down here. Don't get lost.
Because our meetings have an endpoint, we're going to continue on with each meeting as we have kind of planned. If for some reason we have to cancel a meeting this winter because of extreme weather, we're not going to try to reschedule that meeting and fit it in before our next regularly scheduled meeting. We'll just pick up at our next meeting from where we left off. We're not going to try to jam in an extra meeting just because of a weather event. We're going to try to hold all the meetings, and we'll see what happens with the weather as we go through the winter. Thank you to everyone who went on the tour last week. I thought it was well put on. We left it up to the farmers to put on a show for us. That was their agenda, what they wanted to do for the tour, and I thought they did a very great job for us. I found it educational. I hope everyone else appreciated it. But thank you all who took the time out of your week last week to attend those tours. I'm gonna do a quick review of these are going to be our future meetings. The outlines are just the broad topics at this time. Just so we have a sense of where we're going with our meetings. I need a teaching assistant to do this.
Thanks, go over here.
We have purposely set these meetings up to bring in a lot of background information in these first few meetings. They were going to do a broad overview of some of the county rules, regulations we have in place, and a quick overview of some of the state rules and regulations which are in place. Our next meeting, we're going to be diving into, we have some state Department of Agriculture people coming in. They will get into the specifics on NR 151, which are the ag performance standards and prohibitions. We'll also talk a little more in depth about our manure storage and livestock siting. Following that meeting, the first meeting in January, we're going to have the DNR people come in and they're going to talk about CAFO regulations that exist today. CAFO is combined animal feeding operations. We're also going to get a little background on Eau Claire County's groundwater report in summer. So those first few meetings are all background information. Joseph from UW Extension is going to be our facilitator when we really start diving into the next set of meetings beginning at the end of January, as we start discussing what we are looking at into incorporating within our existing rules and potentially changing rules. Joseph will help us facilitate those discussions as we move forward. So right now he's here also learning like all of us are. So we purposely set these meetings up. A lot lot of background information, and then we can move forward with decision making down the road. But I just kind of wanted to point that out, that Joseph's role will become the facilitator a little bit down the road. So he'll be learning along with us. Otherwise, one last thing, I talked with the group last week about who wants to receive information by way of email or would prefer hard copy. I guess Cindy, is email fine for you? Kate, email's fine for you? Otherwise, was there anyone else who changed their mind and decided they want to get things by hard copy?
The documents, go get those and read, but, otherwise.
All right, so we've got that kind of taken care of out of the way. Those are just some basic background information. Our meetings will be scheduled for 2 hours. We will try to limit them to the 2-hour time frame. Today's meeting, we should be out of here, I believe, before 3 o'clock. I think Amanda and Jared will keep their presentations relatively short. I'll keep mine relatively short also. And then we'll have a little bit of time. If you take a look at today's agenda, at the bottom of that is item number 8, development of a consensus of the meeting outcomes. Right now, this is not going to be very important, but once we get into the future when we're making discussion and decisions at the end of each meeting, we're going to make sure we come to a consensus before we move on to another meeting. So we will want to keep that as an agenda item on our agendas, but we just have that discussion point at the end of our meeting that we do come to a consensus on things we have discussed. I just wanted to point that out for you. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, so consensus means to you a vote where 100% of people vote affirmatively, or is it a just less formal thing, or is it just a majority, or how does?
Gary, as chair.
Well, when I read the word consensus, I would say that, because as we go through things, everything's going to be marked as discussion/action, which means hopefully that on each topic before we move on, we're going to vote on that. And then the word consensus, I would assume, on my part, the consensus means that we all agree on what we discussed and acted on throughout the whole meeting. In other words, move on.
Or potentially, we all come to a consensus of what we learned. Might be an important consideration also. Good question, though. Thank you. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll dive into the review of existing ordinances.
Okay.
Amanda from our office will take over.
You want me to grab the mic?
Yeah, why don't you grab it?
Can I try to hit the mute button?
Try it again, please.
Oh, but it's still can't do that, Mark. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Yes. Where do you have the PowerPoints? Okay.